here and figure out whether some people think it's way too early to be worried, whether some people have been worried the whole time, or whether someone's saying, I'm a little concerned, but hit the pause button. You can join this conversation on the text line, 866-979-3776. A no good, very bad ending to this game for Seattle. I've got mixed feelings about this one, Bump. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, I do too. Because the reason why I have mixed feelings is because we're seeing some of the same tendencies that we saw last year, but we also realize that, all right, teams go through slumps and guys aren't going to perform. But when you see them put out the lineup that they put out for today's game, that's what gets me scratching my head a little bit. Like, why aren't we making more adjustments with this lineup? We're just going to keep doing the same thing. Like, why is Polanco batting second? No disrespect to the man, but it's a performance-based business. Yeah. Like, what's going on there? And then you're struggling against a team that typically, for the season, cannot pitch. They're not a very good pitching team. They got talent on that roster. We know that, and they've been a disappointment this year. But and that's kind of why I have mixed feelings too, is because we know that there's some talent there with the Baltimore Orioles that just haven't really been performing. But yeah, it's going up steadily, my concern meter.
360, I don't know why everyone's so spun up. They're exactly what we predicted. They would be this season a little above 500 and a pretty good team. It's nothing more, nothing less. Sure. If you're someone who is just kind of a pessimist about everything, or maybe you don't let yourself ever get excited about your team, you could have looked at this team in the winter. You could have looked at this team at the start of spring training, at the start of the season, and said, I don't really see a playoff team. Or maybe you don't see a good playoff team. Yeah, like a smart baseball fan could have looked and seen that. However, I think that you could also look at the team and see potential. And as a fan, you want your team to make the playoffs.
Right.
And you have to live in reality where you know your team isn't going to spend a ton of money, and you're hoping that they've done enough, or that they can run into some luck and some good health and just barely make it there in a weekend American League. And that's where I think a lot of Mariners fans have been for the first month of the season, because they saw not only a much improved offense, a team that got by despite injuries, a team that got into first place in the division fairly early and hung on to it, a team whose first place lead in the division was also built on like a really solid run differential. You know, it didn't feel like if you score more than two, or if George Kirby limits an opponent to 2 runs, then you can win this game. That's not what it felt like for the first month of the season. In fact, your pitching wasn't even all that elite. So it did feel different to start the year. I don't at all blame anyone for going, yeah, I feel worried. I feel concerned. I knew the floor of this team, but I feel concerned.
They were doing it in a different fashion, and I think that is what still intrigues me and allows me to think that maybe, just maybe, they can climb themselves out of this. They were scoring runs. They were hitting bombs. They were overcoming some of the injuries with the rotation. Yeah, you can look at the downfall of this team and compare it to last year when you look at just the surface, but when you dive deep, like you just mentioned, all those bullet points, it was different. But at the end of the day, people are going to look at where they are and say it's the same old story, and I understand that, right? It's the same old story, the same old Mariners. This is what they do. But you were getting contributions from Polanco. Julio started off as having the best start to his season. You have the best catcher in the game. You're getting contributions from young guys getting pulled up from Tacoma. So at the end of the day, you're going to look at the story to this point and say, yeah, same old Mariners. But if you look at how they got here, it's a bit different, and that's what kind of allowed me to be a bit more optimistic. And I still am. I'm not giving up on this team yet. Still a lot of baseball to be played. It's just that when you have opportunities like you do in this series to beat a team that is struggling and their pitching is not on point, and you come out and look the way that you do, yeah, you should be concerned. And why the heck is Polanco still batting second in the order? Like, come on now. What are we doing?
Adam Jude was on with Brock and Salk the other day. Let's go to cut number 4. He was asked about Jorge Polanco.
Yeah, again, you touched on Polanco, too. It is kind of a mystery. I think Polanco's been pretty sensitive talking about it, and I understand he's had to deal with it the last few years of his career, a lot of different injuries, a lot of nagging things. The oblique thing that popped up in early April, I think has lingered. I will say I watched him take a couple rounds swinging right-handed yesterday before the game, and he was absolutely knocking lasers all over the park. He hit one just below the upper deck in left field, too, and I hadn't seen that in a while, too. Good. So maybe that's a good sign that he's feeling a lot better.
Again, I'm going to run through a couple cuts here to kind of set the scene for where we're going. Let's talk about what's not working with the offense. In addition to guys just not being as consistent, Jorge Polanco falling off a cliff. Cut number 3, here's Adam Jude.
obviously, when you look at the Mariners' offensive struggles since May 1st, a big part of it is their struggles against the fastball. They have the second worst run value in all of baseball against both the two-seamer and the four-seamer since May 1st. So that's kind of a hard stop right there. They're 29th out of 30 teams against fastballs since May 1st. That's the root of their issues right now. Now, again, dig deeper. What is the root of that? Why are they struggling to hit the fastball? I think there's probably a few different reasons why, and I'm curious to talk to Kevin Seitzer and maybe Edgar Martinez and Dan Wilson here this week to try maybe get to the bottom of that a little bit.
So maybe you're looking at this team and you're saying, not only am I seeing these problems that Adam and everyone else is seeing, but I don't even think they have enough internal power to fix it. Like, I don't think they can do enough internally to fix this problem. And so, I'm kind of out. Well, wait a minute. Trade deadline about a little under 2 months away. Jordan Schusterman on with us yesterday and cut to cautiously optimistic.
I am cautiously optimistic that there is going to be a pretty major trade made at some point in the next month and a half. I don't know what it's going to look like. We're still kind of waiting for those sellers to emerge. I think they are going to want to be aggressive. I think they are going to be aggressive via trade. I think we saw it with Luis Castillo. Now, it's a little bit different. Could you say at that point, they viewed it as is this the same kind of team that is worth going all in on? In some ways, yes, because the division is weaker. And even though there are still some flaws with this team, this still appears to be as vulnerable of a division as they've really kind of come up against. And while I know Houston just passed them, and I think picking Houston is still very reasonable because you pick Houston until you don't, there is a window here to win the division for the first time since 2001, and I think the organization and the front office is going to act accordingly.
I like Jordan's argument there, which is if you were to ask fans, like, is this team fundamentally better than last year's? You'd say offensively, yes, at least on paper so far. But pitching-wise, no. They're more banged up, and the numbers just haven't been there. And maybe that's an easy team to look at and go, not worth giving a lot up. But to Jordan's point, value is always in context of something else. It's never just in a vacuum. On paper, this isn't a playoff team, but on paper, with an addition, this could be an AL West champion.
I would disagree that on paper this isn't a playoff team.
Okay.
I would say that they've played like a playoff team, and right now they're not playing like a playoff team. I think that they have shown the ability to be that. It's just, are they going to be capable of bouncing back and doing that for the rest of the year, especially because of what's going on around them in the AL West, right? I think that if it were any other year, a couple years ago, then I would look at this team and be like, yeah, probably not. But because they've overcome some of the things, I still look at them and say they're a possible playoff team. They're in a slump right now. Now, that thought process can get worse as they lose more games as the season progresses, and I can then shift into the area of they're not a playoff team, definitely. And I just don't think I'm there yet. Someone on the text line says, Bump, I envy you. You're still optimistic. I wish I had that. And the reason why I am optimistic is because of where we are in the season and the things that we've yet to see. Logan's not back yet. Kirby hasn't had his best outing yet. And maybe Polanco gets out of the slump that he's in. Why is he batting second today? I still don't understand. So there hasn't been enough damage. I haven't been beat up enough yet to say this definitely is not a playoff team.
You mentioned Polanco second in the lineup quickly. Crawford, Polanco, Rodriguez, Raleigh, Rosarena, Tellez, Taveras, Mastroboni, Young, Wu on the mound. Headline rewrites coming your way next.
Seahawks head coach Mike McDonald, exclusively with Brock and Salk.
Your cohort, Mr. Schneider, talked a lot this offseason about pivoting. How was all of that?
It's kind of how we operate. You're looking at the lens of what we're trying to build, what's going to be best for us. I know it seemed like a lot, but we had time kind of behind the scenes here, and I thought we ended up with a team we're really excited about, and the guys that are here are fired up for.
Watch the full conversation on the Seattle Sports YouTube page or get the podcast on the Seattle Sports app.
Do you have a car you want to sell, but you just don't want to go through all the hassle? I don't blame you. With all the scams and security risks out there, more and more people are just uncomfortable selling their own car. So what to do now? You want to get the most money for your car, but you don't want to sell it yourself. Stacy here with the answer. Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Listen to this. Not only will they purchase your used car and pay you right up front for it, but once they resell your old car, they share half their profit with you. The question I get most is, well, what's the catch? But there isn't one. Here's how it works. All the money Wayscar Ford saves by not traveling to buy cars at auction, not paying those purchase fees or shipping fees and travel expenses is money saved. This program lets them share that saved money with you, their customer, rather than outside vendors. They encourage you to shop around, but if Wayscar Ford can pay you the same or more as competitors and share half their profit with you once they resell your car, why would you go anywhere else? They've already shared over $800,000 with customers. It's only at Wayscar Ford, wayscarford.com.
At Washington Energy Services, we take the time to get to know you and your home. We have the passion and commitment to see each project through and to treat our work as more than just a job. For over 65 years, we've offered award-winning home services from heating and cooling, plumbing and electrical to windows and doors. Complete home improvement handled from start to comfort. For peace of mind when you need it most, count on Washington Energy Services, bringing good energy to your home.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. 783-8055. That's 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Every success you've had began with a great opportunity. Now there's another one. Last aid year, University of Maryland Global Campus awarded over $21 million in scholarships to qualified students, including community college students, service members, veterans, and working adults. Now is the time to move your career forward with an online and accredited skills-based education. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
The Bump and Stacy Show is powered in part each day by the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Go to pendergastlaw.com.
Does your yard need shade, privacy, or a little brightening up? Look no further than Big Trees. I'm Nancy Penrose, owner of Big Trees in Snohomish. At our 30-acre location, there are thousands of trees to choose from and knowledgeable staff, including a board-certified master arborist, to help you find exactly what you're looking for. Visit the nursery and learn more about Big Trees at bigtreesupply.com.
Beauty, privacy, instantly. We meet by accident, fixing every last bit. Accurate Auto Body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit. Accurate Auto Body.
If you've ever wondered if there's something after death, Tyler Henry proves the answer is yes. Be part of his live audience readings and his jaw-dropping ability to connect with the departed at Muckleshoot Event Center, Thursday, July 10th and Friday, July 11th at 8 p.m. Experience this evening of hope and healing, bringing peace and closure to loved ones. Tyler Henry proves our loved ones never leave us. Get tickets at muckleshootcasino.com.
Muckleshoot.
Summertime is Pacific Power Batteries time. Okay, maybe that's a stretch. But we do sell more batteries in the spring and summer because you folks are all out there doing stuff. Golf carting and boating and buzzing around on stuff that needs batteries. But when's a good time? How about tomorrow? We're open 7 days a week to test any battery and let you know the honest answer. Summertime and the cranking is easy. Happy trails from Pacific Power Batteries.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
Headline number one, Cal Raleigh told MLB.com's Daniel Kramer he would absolutely do the home run derby if invited. What's the real headline?
This is terrible news for people who hate fun.
Don't do it, Cal.
Stop
Wow,
it.
Bump, you're so old.
Bump.
Do it.
No, you've been
boomer.
overruled.
Wow.
He needs to rest.
No, you
All
didn't get
that
off my lawn
squatting.
once a week. It's not Wednesday.
All that squatting and standing and throwing.
Stop.
He throws just as
But
many
what about bombs, man?
Thank you.
bombs. No, man, sit the dumper down. The dumper needs to rest. Rest those glutes. Rest
No,
those hammies.
No,
I'm
dumper
all
needs
for
to
rest.
get going. The dumper needs to dump.
But listen, if he's for it, I will support him 100% because that's what I do.
Yeah.
But man, don't you want a break?
The thing is, he is for it. Did you see the quote? It was like yesterday, just ahead of the game. I saw it from Daniel Kramer. Obviously, but the headline itself talks about the quote, but the quote is like a very definitive, like, what, Curtis, wasn't it like, hell yeah? Or
He
like,
said he would do it in a heartbeat, yeah.
He's emphatic.
Yeah.
Good for him. Well, you know what? I support Dumper 100%. It's like I'm a father. It's like I'm watching my son or my daughters when they have back-to-back games of basketball, and then their coach asks if they can fill in a soccer game. I'm like, no, you need to rest. Like, you've done enough this weekend. That's the way I feel about Cal, man. I just want you. We need you, Cal, to be super healthy. Now, if you hit bombs, and I'll be there cheering you on with my mini torpedo bat and showing support. But rest, my man.
No, Curtis, how many people have actually been hurt in a home run derby? I know you don't have it offhand, but like,
didn't Julio like aggravate his wrist a little bit in one of the home run derbies that he played? I think it was the first one that he participated in.
But it was like one of the coolest moments.
Oh, right. He made it to the championship round, and then the next year he set the single round record. So even with Julio, and it kind of unlocked Julio in the second half of both those seasons. Like,
wasn't the first one 2022?
Yes.
That they went to the playoffs.
Right, and he had that incredible month of August in 2023. So, yeah, I'm for Cal Raleigh doing this if he gets in.
I'll be the mature one in this group. I'm the elder statesman.
Okay.
Cal, drink water, sleep, and rest.
You're
but if
giving
you do
yourself
go out
advice.
there, I'll support you. No, I'll go.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number two, Logan Gilbert threw 60 pitches in his latest rehab start last night, but his velocity was down from 96 in the first inning to 93 in the fourth. What's the real headline?
Good thing the speed limit from Tacoma to Seattle is only 60. He can make it in time.
He can make it in time.
Logan, please.
That's just a sign that he's not ready, you know, and he only went, 4 innings? And who knows? Maybe he purposely took a little off because he felt some discomfort somewhere. Who knows? But there's no rush for me to bring Logan back. As much as I want to see him on the mound, as much as I want to see the 5-man rotation get back together and do what they have to do, we have to be absolutely sure that Logan is ready to go, and that's a clear sign that, you know, maybe he needs some more time.
I was talking to Curtis about this before we started. I saw the tweet from Luke Arkins, though it's on a couple other places, but I'm just going to throw the same question your way, Curtis. I said, how much does it matter to have a drop in velo over those 3-4 innings of like just under or around 3 miles per hour?
Well, I mean, you're dealing with fractions of seconds of reaction time, which, you know, these hitters are all professional and they can time things up really well. I mean, that's kind of the difference between being a dominant pitcher and just getting rocked out there on the mound. So you don't want to see a big dip in velocity, especially one where it's, you know, 3-4 miles an hour like it was last night with Logan Gilbert. Hopefully this is just one off and his next rehab start goes a little bit better in terms of more consistent velocity. We saw that velocity drop off too during Bryce Miller's start on Saturday against the Twins. So, it's just kind of what the Mariners are going to be dealing with the rest of the season. A lot of these guys that they had been counting on to carry the rotation, they're going to have to deal with doing that in addition to just coming back from these injuries.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number one, game one of the NBA Finals between the Pacers and Thunder tip off tonight. What's the real headline?
This is the first NBA Finals where both fan bases have strong feelings on their favorite truck stops.
What's those truck stops driving to Spokehampton? The Love truck stops, something like that. Yeah,
What?
Loves. You never seen them?
No, I've never driven to Spokane.
Oh, you never?
I believe
Spokehampton?
Love's is the Thunder jersey sponsor.
Boom.
Yeah.
Perfect. Those truck stops, man. I look at these dudes, and they are just your stereotypical truck drivers. Carhartts, boots, hoodies, dirty hats. They're eating whatever they can at the truck stop. That's how I imagine the fan base looks for OKC and the Pacers. I'm glad they're not listening because they'll be all over me. Don't you stereotype us, but listen, you're Middle America.
Oh, we'll gladly stereotype people from Oklahoma
all
City.
day. Literally all day.
Middle America at its finest. This is going to be a fun one, though. It's going to feel like a college type atmosphere.
Tip off 5:30 in Oklahoma City at Paycom. The Thunder are 9.5-point favorites over the Pacers. Does that feel fair to you guys?
Yeah, for sure. Thunder, the best defensive team in the game, one of the deeper teams in the game. Chet Holmgren is finally coming around. We know SGA is going to do his thing, man. It's about the supporting cast, but it all starts with defense. I think they're the only team that can really slow down the tempo of the Pacers because the Pacers push the ball. They push it. They're young, and I think OKC can slow them down.
Let's see what's on tonight.
What's on tonight with Bump and Stacy, brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook at Muckleshoot. Now, here's what's on tonight.
The Mariners take on the Orioles in a series finale today. Pregame follows us at 11:30. First pitch at 12:40 p.m. on Seattle Sports. Also later this afternoon, you can hear Game 1 of the finals on Seattle Sports immediately following Wyman and Bob at 6 p.m. Also at 6 p.m. on Peacock is a new episode of Love Island. Seahawks wide receiver Cooper Kupp joining us next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
You know, when Cal comes into work, I mean, he's a catcher. He's looking at game plans and how to get guys. So I know there's been a lot of talk about the heavy workload, but I mean, he's built for that. Some guys are just built to last.
Dan, he knows what it takes to be a catcher. He knows that life. He knows the grind and the pain in the knees and the lower back.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Hey, what's up? It's Michael Bumpus here for Silver Reef Casino, man. You have nothing to do this weekend. I got something you can do. It's a great place to get away and recharge. You go up I-5 North, you get off 260, and boom, you are there. Once you get there, experience their comfortable rooms. They're spacious, free Wi-Fi, and they have great views. Also, they got restaurants downstairs. They got the steakhouse, the cantina, and if you want to watch some sports, some baseball, basketball, whatever, visit Porter's Bay Sports Bar. I did it. It was fun. And now for my golfers, Loomis Trail Golf Course is a great course with water everywhere. 18 holes, water on almost every hole. Is crazy. Bring a lot of balls and bring your patience, man. It's going to be wild out there. And also, they got a special promo. Every Saturday this month, you can win $5,000. And they also got events coming up. They got Howie Mandel. They got Desperado. It's the Eagles tribute band. Also, you got Neil McCoy. Book your tickets at silverreefcasino.com. Silver Reef Casino, it's not a secret anymore. Visit silverreefcasino.com.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Every success you've had began with a great opportunity. Now there's another one. Last aid year, University of Maryland Global Campus awarded over $21 million in scholarships to qualified students, including community college students, service members, veterans, and working adults. Now is the time to move your career forward with an online and accredited skills-based education. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You spit in today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
When you switch to Progressive, you could save bundling your home and auto. Then you could put that money towards some of the surprisingly more expensive things in life.
Attention passengers, we've reached 10,000 feet and internet is now available for purchase.
I just paid hundreds for this flight, and you can't even throw in internet? I'll just take the free pretzels.
Sorry, but I do have snack boxes for sale.
I'm just gonna sleep.
In that case, we are selling pillows and blankets as well.
I'll just breathe. That's free, right?
Life costs a lot, so bundle and you could save with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
If you want that summer body you've always dreamed of, then this message is for you, ladies, and you men, too. Get rid of extra stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin around the waistline, chin, and under the upper arms with ProSculpt, the new one-day instant permanent fat removal and skin tightening treatment. Maybe you've tried the lasers, fat-freezing methods, even those new pills, but without the desired results. ProSculpt is different. It's minimally invasive, performed while fully awake, gentle, yet powerful. Designed to target the waistline, chin, neck, arms, and thighs, ProSculpt uses FDA-cleared plasma technology to deliver immediate, permanent fat-reducing and skin-tightening results, all in just one visit. If you want that summer body this summer, then you must act now. Go to ProSculpt.com today to schedule your free consultation. Get $250 off. For instant, permanent fat reduction and skin tightening, visit ProSculpt.com.
You're losing your hair and you simply need a solution that works. You want the best. Modern technology, top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need world-class Dr. Perungo and his team at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration. From the experience itself to their unmatched results. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair, maybe all three like I had. Get your hair back with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment that begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. And get this, Advanced Hair is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. For your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. Right now, you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Refine your hairline with the team that redefined hair restoration. That's 425-449-8185. Or for the before and afters, visit advancedhair.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Bumpin' Stacy, we are live at Seahawks OTAs, joined right now by Seahawks wide receiver Cooper Kupp, which still feels kind of weird for me to say. Does it feel weird to hear still?
Yeah, I'm getting used to it.
Yeah?
Getting used to it, yeah.
How was camp today?
That was good. The ups and downs. It's typical fifth OTA. You got momentum swings and all that stuff. You got adversity on both sides and just have to overcome that stuff. It's fun. It's fun to go through this, and especially on the offensive side of the ball where we're all learning this thing together, and it's evolving and Clint's doing a great job in terms of the offense is moving with the guys too, and so it's a fun evolving thing that we're building, and I'm excited to keep going at it.
I wasn't here Monday, so I came out here. This is my first time actually seeing the offense in real motion. And there's some similarities to what you did over there in L.A. with the Rams. How's the terminology? And you being a veteran, has it been difficult for you to pick it up, or it's kind of been a smooth transition?
A little bit of both, because when I got to L.A., this offense was this kind of was the offense that was that Sean had brought over, but it had changed and molded so much over 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like this was what I'm seeing now is where the the Shanahan tree, I guess, went off with a little bit. And so, yeah, it's just kind of I'm not sure. There's some stuff that's the same. There's stuff that's different. There's stuff that's the same that means different things, and it's all over the place. So it's I'm trying to just clean slate it. I don't want to hear any of my old words of all this and stuff. I like telling guys like, oh yeah, we used to call this whatever. It's like, no, don't even put that out.
Don't bring that up.
I don't want to hear it.
Kind of taking a few steps back, just because we haven't had a chance to interview you, and I know you've talked about this, but when you think about when you knew in LA, like, okay, I think that my time here might be done, how did you know? Like, what happened, and how did you feel?
Yeah, so I wasn't sure what it was going to be like after the season. I wasn't sure what was going to happen. I figured something was going to happen. So we were going to have a conversation. And then, Sean just let me know what their plan was, and that was kind of it. That was the plan, and I don't know. I don't want to get too much into it.
Yeah, I know. I didn't want to put you on the spot.
No, now's not the time. There will be a time to talk about it. Now it's just not the time.
You don't have to.
You got a great reputation. When I coach my young receivers, I pull up your film all the time because you do everything, and the last week a lot of your blocking game has come up in conversations or whatnot. Where does that come from? I know your high school and college coach Dew. Was that him? Did he put that in you? How'd that work?
Yeah, it's really funny. So you know Dew?
Oh yeah, I know Dew well.
So Dumas was the one in high school that was always about like, hey, you're gonna play receiver, you have to block. Yep. It was always it was like a huge coaching point in high school, and then I come to find out that he was an awful, he didn't block anyone when he played. So, but yeah, it kind of started there, and then it just kind of continued, and it's been a fun thing. I love learning football, and the more you learn, the deeper you get into it, the more you realize that there's so much more you don't even understand yet. Yeah. And being a part of the run game, being involved in the calls up front with the offensive line, it's a whole nother world, a whole nother depth of football that I just love to be a part of. So. Even aside from the on the field stuff, just the mental side of it is just really fun for me, and learning and doing that stuff. It's stuff that I get excited about.
Yeah. This might be part of your answer then. I was going to ask, what's something that maybe you realized later into your career, something that you learned, something you realized that you just thought, either it took you to another level of play or just as a person, it kind of dawned on you?
Yeah, well, I think there's a few things, and there's a lot of stuff with the route running, and just as defenses have changed over time, and what D coordinators are calling and how they're coaching things and how they're playing off each other. There's a lot of stuff that's always, you have to be learning. Every year, you've got to be studying and seeing what are the new things, what are the things that are working, what are the things that are not working anymore that had worked for a long time. Mm-hmm. And then it's also what are the things that now work again because they've
come back
so far off, and it's okay, now we can do this again because they've moved so far off of it. And so it's just a cycle. It's a beautiful thing with football. You get the cover 2, start running seams, stuff like that. Yep. You get the Tampa 2 run through, right, and the offense has to come back and adjust and do. It's just it's constantly the changing of offense versus defense, who can have the upper hand, and there's so many things that it's what makes football really fun.
Yeah. Well, also I think what makes football fun in the receiver position too is I'm watching you guys out there. MVS having himself a day-to-day, right? And then you see JSN, see yourself, Derek. And you guys are all different type of receivers, So how would you describe this group, as far as the potential of this squad?
Oh, there's a ton of potential. We got guys that I think the thing that's really cool is we got guys that can do everything, right? And not just saying there's one guy that does this one thing or there's this guy that does this one thing. There's a fullness of each guy. Hey, I can be involved in the run game. I can be involved in the third level of the defense. I can attack each level. I can do the underneath stuff. And so you have guys that can do everything. Mm-hmm. Makes it really cool to be able to move guys around and be able to say, hey, look, you don't know where it's going to be coming from, but each guy's got their opportunities in every part of the game. So that's a cool thing about our group, and guys, I think, pride themselves on that.
Sam Darnold mentioned taking some time to kind of work one-on-one even. How much time have you guys spent together? What have you been up to as far as one-on-one this offseason?
Yeah, a lot of stuff has been studying the playbook, and he's been in the system before, so a lot of it is for me just learning from him. How does he see these concepts intent behind him. What did he like? What did he not like? What kind of things? I mean, like I said, Clint's awesome in working with, Sam on a lot of this stuff in terms of how it can mold, how it can be better. And so that's the thing that we talk about a lot. And, like watching plays out here, it's like, man, there's already we have the list of plays we're going to go watch right now. It's like, hey, how can we do this better? What can we do to make sure that this is, this is answering the bell. This is answering the bell on a bunch of different levels. No matter what the coverage is, we're giving ourselves the best opportunity to win. And so, that's kind of the things that we're going through right now.
Have you went up against, say, Mike McDonald defense before coming out here against these guys?
Yeah, well, obviously playing against Seattle, I did. And then I actually played against when he was in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Baltimore, we played against them over there in Baltimore. So, yeah, it's a challenging defense to go against, and we've got such good football players, and the communication. The guys have been in the system now. You can just hear. You get up to the line of scrimmage, you can hear the communication is happening, and how on top of it, how they're anticipating what they're going to be seeing, and it makes it really fun to go against because you've got they're going to challenge you,
right?
And so it's a lot of fun.
I have a really weird question. It's one, as a non-football player, I can't understand it, but you were talking about ways that the league changes. So this is going to sound stupid to both of you, but just know that. I always hear from people, oh my God, you used to be able to be so much more physical on defense. And simultaneously, we've always heard that just defenses are becoming tougher and harder, and these defensive coordinators are, becoming head coaching candidates. Have defenses had to get, for lack of a better phrase, smarter? Is it harder to face defenses now compared to couple of years ago?
Yeah, it is. And, I do think that there's a lot of this stuff, who knows where the genesis was of each thing. Everyone's going to have their claim to it, I'm sure. From my perspective. This is from my perspective. So don't get, no one won't even get offended.
No, quote him.
But here we go. So in 2017, 2018, Sean McVay's offense is ahead of the game. Right? There were times we were in plays, I'm like, they have no idea what is going on, and we were just manipulating just manipulating them, moving them to where we wanted to go the other direction. It was stupid. 2019, defenses start catching on. There's a little bit of this Vic Fangio thing that comes on. It's like, okay, hey, late in 2018, there was some stuff that's showed that they could kind of stop this offense a little bit. So 2019, you start seeing some more of this cover 4, some of the 6-1 stuff. You see, safeties now playing things, from depth and being able to cancel things across. 2020 comes. Brandon Staley gets hired to L.A. Brandon Staley was with Fangio in Chicago. Staley, in 1 year, puts together the #1 defense in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Staley's thing is all about, concept recognition, concept match, being able to be cancel routes, move on to new things. So now you've got a defense that's not just dropping to spots, but now they're playing the offense. Right? And now more and more of this is shifted and molded into this defenses now that are holding these shells and being able to say, hey, you're not going to see what we're doing pre-snap. We're going to show you late. We're going to bring pressures from all different directions. We're going to be showing you, we're not just going to be dropping into spots. We're going to be matching. We're going to be playing zone stuff underneath. There's all this different stuff that's happening, and the complexity of the defenses has gotten so much more because the offenses have also started doing so much more that you have to be able to have answers for it defensively. So that's kind of where we're at right now, and it is fun, though.
You should be an analyst.
No.
No?
I don't know.
He got more football to do. He got more football to play.
You have way more football to play. But you explain it in a way that I find sometimes when people talk about football, they intentionally try to keep it above your head so that they feel smarter. And so I appreciate when
I've done that before, so I
yeah. So I appreciate when people can be like, well, this is, and you clearly care about it. You're fascinated by football history.
Yeah.
As you were describing, how the defenses have changed, I'm a bit older than you. So when I played, I remember I used to love watching you guys' film with LA because you guys would run concepts and run routes the way that my coach would kill us if we ran it that way because everything's supposed to be linear. You're attacking here. Now, with the fluidity of the offenses, it just allows you to be more creative. Have you seen the young receivers change in their approach to the game because they've grown up in an offense or an offensive era to where you're able to do that?
Yeah, there is, and you have to play within parameters, right? Like, that's where the guys get in trouble is when you come in, you've got a concept, and it used to be like, hey, look, we're going to distribute the field and get to spots. You got to get to spots. It became like, hey, there's going to be room for creativity in your own stuff that you're going to bring in to create separation. It's not now with all the pattern match stuff that's going on, even in these zone defenses you're seeing, you still have to separate and be open in the spot. Right? It's not just about getting to the spot. It's about being open in the spot, in the timing when the quarterback needs you to be there. So now there's a creativity, there's a patience, there's a rhythm, there's a, as a point guard, you can't just go 100% all the time. You got to be able to mix and match your tempos. And things have gotten, I think, out of control. Yeah. I think a lot of it is these Instagram people doing all of their Instagram videos of all these different drills and everything. It's like you don't have time. You have time for that much stuff. Like you got to get down the field still. But there is more time than the guys that used to say, hey, it's speed, release, go. Right? Like there's time for a jackknife, and there's time to work your hands, be able to get to the top and give sticks and things like that. So it's a balance, and that's where you're pulling. You guys get here, and it's pulling guys in both those directions. Like you have time, don't rush it. You got to hurry up. Yeah. Right? You're just spending too much time. You aren't gonna have time for that. So it is interesting as guys come in, depending on the system they've been a part of.
Last one, then we'll let you go. I know you have a busy day. You've talked a lot about the ways that you've seen football change. What can you tell us about the minds at the helm here in Seattle? So what can you tell us about Clint, just what you think of him, and then Mike McDonald? Yeah.
Clint, he's a very intelligent football coach. You see the things that he's bringing, the thought process that goes into it, the intention between what he's trying to get done. And I think the coolest thing is, despite being what is a really smart offensive coordinator that's putting together a very competent offense. That's what you want, right? A competent offense is humility to say he doesn't know everything is really cool. It's just a really cool thing to be a part of because it brings the players into it to own it as well, right? So it's not just, this is my thing, you do it. This is our thing, and we're going to do it together. And I really appreciate that about Clint, how he operates offensively and how he sets us up. And, Mike, I was just up in Mike's office last night, and he was talking about how excited he was for these things that he's coming up with. I can't even say, I'm going to say too much. These things that he's coming up with, and he was just gigging out over these different. I'm not going to tell you these different things that he's just so pumped about. And I'm like, this is awesome. This is awesome to have the excitement and the enthusiasm and be like, this is the stuff that gets people excited about, and you take that enthusiasm and excitement and be able to get the information hey, this is what we're going to do together. We got some good guys up there.
Cool. We're excited to see it. All Seahawks wide receiver Cooper Kupp. You've been really generous with your time. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, guys.
Let's head to the station for Hype Train. All right, you got the NBA Finals starting tonight. The Pacers, hosted by the Oklahoma City Thunder at Paycom. Thunder are 9.5-point favorites, but the underdog Pacers will take game one. That is the first Hype Train.
Do you think OKC plays Imagine Dragons Thunder in the stadium?
I
they
would throw myself
thunder,
off
feel the thunder.
out of the stands.
It's a banger.
No,
I'm sure that thing's probably diamond.
No, stop.
It's probably diamond by now.
Stop.
Your takes today, you don't want Cal Raleigh in the home run derby, and you're saying Imagine Dragons has bangers? Are you kidding me?
I'd had to check to see if he was wearing New Balances just now.
I'm just
with
saying.
grass stains.
You guys need to grow up, okay?
What?
You guys need to grow up.
You've had such a get off my lawn day today. It is wild.
Man, it's not Wednesday, it's Thursday, huh? All right. No.
You're about to go out and shake your head at music being played at practice. It's
too
loud.
Too loud.
It's
Can't
too
concentrate.
loud.
How are these guys supposed to communicate?
How do they even hear each other?
All these rappers, they're mumbling.
I'm not against rap. I'm not against rappers.
I'm not against rap.
No, OKC's gonna win game one. It's gonna be loud in there. Imagine Dragons is gonna be there. SGA is gonna be there.
Wow.
Imagine Dragons.
It's gonna be crazy. Ain't no way the Pacers take game one.
If I was talking to someone and let's say we were doing, we all talk about walk-up songs. If someone said, "Oh, my walk-up song would be Imagine Dragons," I'd be like, "You're striking out."
I guarantee someone
You're a strikeout on a foul tip.
in the bigs right now comes up to Imagine Dragons.
Probably.
That
Guarantee
person's
you.
wife picks out his outfits.
Someone's on some Kirk Cousins stuff.
Yes, Cole's catch. The underdog Pacers take game one. Bump is not boarding. He says it's OKC. Curtis.
I'm going to board this train. One, because I'm an OKC hater, through and through, forever and ever. Yes. But the Pacers' last 2 series against Cleveland and against New York, game 1 was on the road, and Indiana won both of those games. I think it continues here tonight. No real reason as per the matchup for them against OKC. I'm just going off of what we've seen from Indiana in the past.
I will say the text line is backing Bump up about Imagine Dragons, but I don't think that's helping your case.
Just saying. Grow up. Expand your
Wally
musical
from
horizon.
Snoqualmie says,
Why
that
don't you
song is
expand
good,
your-
don't hate. I'm almost 42.
Wally. Expand your musical horizon. You expand yours past like 2017.
Oh, wow. I listen to Lil Yachty.
I'll board it. Just, you know what? No, I won't.
Too late.
No, you've already. You
Too
can't
late.
jump off a train. That's very dangerous.
Well, I
Stacey.
thought that we could do the opposite, all aboard, of like no one aboard, but I forgot that all aboard wouldn't ring for that. Okay, so yeah, I'll board it. No reason whatsoever. I'm just making Matt's life more difficult for the soundboard.
No, yeah,
Next up.
What else is new?
What if I was just like, and third train? The Stanley Cup Finals continue tomorrow with Game 2 in Edmonton. Panthers were the favorite heading into this one, but Edmonton, hosting Game 1, took a much-needed win. Hockey has the best playoffs.
Man, I had a great experience yesterday watching hockey at Moonshine with my hockey dudes. I'm sitting there with like 12 guys who used to play hockey back in the day, and listening to their analysis was awesome. And you know what? I wouldn't say any 7-game series is best. Like, I love the football playoffs, obviously NFL, but in the NFL, you got to get lucky. The health has to be on point. Like, there's not a lot of variables, but in 7 games, the best team usually wins. And so I'd have to go basketball and hockey have the best ones. I think baseball, you pretty much know who's going to be in the finals or have a pretty good idea. You know what? I'm going to say yes. Hockey has the best playoffs, man. It's fire. I love that yesterday.
Hockey has the best playoffs. I'll say best playoff experience, best experience watching the game. Curtis.
Yeah, we're boarding that train. One of my favorite things is those crowd shots, not of the arena, but after a goal gets scored, they pan to like that courtyard outside of every arena, and it's just like thousands of people losing their absolute minds. You don't really see that in any other sport. Like, you don't see that in baseball. You don't see that in football. You kind of see that in the NBA playoffs now. That's kind of been a thing. You know, the Raptors had like Jurassic Park. That's what they call their little courtyard area. But
people died there.
Yeah, but
in Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I'm going Stanley Cup playoffs, the best playoffs in sports. So yeah, we're boarding.
I gotta say something though. I was watching the game yesterday, and Edmonton, y'all gotta do better. They had a big sign that said, "This is our country." Yes, of course it's your country. It's not ours. We're not claiming that.
I mean,
maybe it's a shot at Trump. Maybe because Trump wants them to be the 51st state. Okay, all right, never mind. I get it now.
Matt, we need the all aboard button. I'm boarding this one too. This is why it's such a bummer. I know that people kind of entered the season with fairly mediocre expectations for the Kraken, and it's always tough as an expansion team not named Vegas. Like, I get it, right? However, their single playoff trip was maybe the most fun I've had watching like any playoff experience. Yeah. It was amazing. Okay, next up. Cal Raleigh will participate in the home run derby.
You know what? Cal's not going to listen to Uncle Bump. And Uncle Bump says you need rest. You need to sit down. You need to rest the dumper, rest the thighs, rest the glutes. But because he was just so enthusiastic about it, yeah, they're going to put him in. He leads the league in bombs right now, right? So, yeah, he's going to do it.
That's my next one. Cal Raleigh will participate in the home run derby. Bump, comma, only 39, comma, says absolutely not. You need to rest, drink water, stretch. Curtis, are you boarding this train?
I'm boarding. Absolutely boarding this train. Cal's only, 28? He's still got some youth to him. Like, he's in his athletic prime. Let him have this moment. He's never even gone to an all-star game before, which is crazy to think about here in 2025, the year of our Lord. Like, here we are on the verge of his first All-Star game appearance, and I say let him go participate in the home run derby, because it's not the All-Star game itself that makes the stars. I think you become an even bigger star based off of your home run derby performance.
Absolutely agree. It's just culturally significant. It's fun. It's tied to amazing memories. I think he absolutely should. And I don't even think I'm boarding this train. And I think it's already written on the wall. Like, we know Cal will be an All-Star. We know Cal will be invited to the Derby, and Cal told Daniel Kramer he's going to participate in the Derby. This isn't even a bold prediction. This is just going to happen. And Bump, you and your Imagine Dragon friends need to just accept that.
I've accepted. I don't like it, but I accept it.
Next up, Cooper Kupp will have a 1,000-yard season. I had previously in Hype Train said, like, over 600 yards. But Bob Condotta yesterday with us was like, no, he looked amazing at practice. I don't see why he won't have a 1,000-yard season.
He did look good. If there's anybody who you can kind of evaluate when they're out there in pajamas and stuff practicing, it's the wideouts and quarterbacks, because it's decision-making, it's timing, and all that good stuff. He looked great. The Hawks don't need him to have 1,000 yards. And for that reason alone, and because, talking to him yesterday, or who were we talking to that said that? I think it was Condotta, that the balls is going to be distributed. You don't have to force the ball to one person. And because of that,
democratic.
Yeah, he doesn't need to go for 1,000. He's not going to go for 1,000. That's JSN, so I'm not on this one.
Not boarding the train. Cooper Kupp has a 1,000-yard season. Curtis, are you boarding?
If he does, that means bad things for the rest of the receiver and tight end group. And I don't think it's going to be so bad. I think MVS is going to have a role. He was highly productive when he played in New Orleans last year in Kubiak's offense. He was just hurt for a good portion of it. I don't think Cooper Kupp will have a 1,000-yard season this year. He'll get close. I think he'll be in the 800 range, 850. Not quite to 1,000, but it'll still be a productive year for him. So not boarding, but he'll put up some numbers.
It's a bummer no one's aboard this train, but it's not for any hate of Cooper Kupp. He was on with us, obviously, in our last segment. A fantastic interview, really smart guy, clearly a student of the game, who's still, from what everyone's saying, this is going to be our first day checking out practice. From what everyone's saying, like, absolutely amazing. Oh, no, you did see yesterday. And what Bump is saying. But when you look at Cooper Kupp's numbers, it's not like that, Mike Evans kind of like 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. He's just incredibly talented, reliable, has high highs, but he doesn't give you that every single season.
Yeah.
And I'm having trouble finding a reason that he absolutely will this year.
No, it's it's just not necessary. And I think that because of the tight end talent, as Curtis pointed out, the other wideouts in that room, he'll be great for this team, but won't go for 1,000.
Someone said, did Julio start having physical or performance issues after batting in the Derby? Curtis did mention that during one of them, like, he seemed to kind of aggravate an issue that ended up being fine. But I'm reading this because I thought they said whimsical. And I just thought of
have any whimsical issues?
From now on, I'm going to start calling any Mariners loss. It was just whimsical. It's just a whimsical performance. Ryan Rowland-Smith joins us next.
Seahawks head coach Mike Macdonald, exclusively with Brock and Salk.
Your cohort, Mr. Schneider, talked a lot this offseason about pivoting. How was all of that?
It's kind of how we operate. You're looking at the lens of what we're trying to build, what's going to be best for us. I know it seemed like a lot, but we had time kind of behind the scenes here. And I thought we ended up with a team we're really excited about. The guys that are here are fired up for.
Watch the full conversation on the Seattle Sports YouTube page or get the podcast on the Seattle Sports app.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, Buc-ee's has you covered with no credit financing. For oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance, it's Buc-ee's Complete Auto. No appointment needed, and financing is available. Check Buc-ee's.com for the location near you.
At Washington Energy Services, we take the time to get to know you and your home. We have the passion and commitment to see each project through and to treat our work as more than just a job. For over 65 years, we've offered award-winning home services, from heating and cooling, plumbing and electrical, to windows and doors. Complete home improvement handled from start to comfort. For peace of mind when you need it most, count on Washington Energy Services, bringing good energy to your home.
It's time for a girls' night out back. Australia's Thunder from Down Under Temptation Tour is hitting Galaxy at Muckleshoot, June 5th through 7th. Tight abs, ripped bodies, and moves so hot you'll need a cold shower after. Get tickets now at muckleshootcasino.com and feel the thunder. June 5th through 7th, only at Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
The perfect Father's Day gift. Time. This year, take Dad to LeMay, America's Car Museum, to explore 100 years of rare and luxurious vehicles and get your adrenaline rush in the racing simulators. Fun for all. Visit americascarmuseum.org today.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Progressive Home Quote Explorer lets you easily compare rates, so shopping for insurance might be the easiest part of owning a home. Definitely easier than this.
Psst, honey. Honey! What? Shh, there's a salesman walking up the driveway.
Oh no, he's got a clipboard.
What do we do?
Get down.
Down?
On the floor, you...
Shoot, did he see us?
Why are you breathing so loud?
Home ownership isn't easy, but with Progressive's Home Quote Explorer, shopping for home insurance is. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, it's Rowland-Smith for Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. I dropped 30 pounds and honestly, I feel amazing and it has been so easy to keep off. But I didn't want to just lose weight. I wanted to be in the best shape of my life. Look, I'm in way better shape than what I was even when I was playing. I've lost all that visceral fat, which is super crucial long term, and now I'm sleeping better. I've got way more energy, and I'm actually maintaining the results. I'm not guessing anymore when it comes to diet. I finally understand my body. The meals are simple, I'm never hungry, and they fit into my lifestyle. And yeah, now that I've dropped the body fat, I can still enjoy an Aussie meat pie on the weekend, and I'm not stressed about it. After speaking with Dr. Coogan, it all made perfect sense. Yes, it was going to take some discipline, but trust me, the results were well worth it. So if you're ready to take control and feel like your best self, go to eastsideweightlossklinik.com and book a 15-minute consultation. It changed everything for me, and it can for you too.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, DC. Results may vary.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners look to avoid a sweep with a series finale against the Orioles this afternoon. Brian Wu on the mound, first pitch at 12:40 p.m. Pregame show at 11:30 right here on Seattle Sports. Tonight, it's Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Thunder, 9.5-point favorites over the Pacers. Tip-off at 5:30 in Oklahoma City.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
This is Bump and Stacy.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Ryan Rowland-Smith joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. The Mariners are celebrating, Ryan, and Australia on June 13th against the Cleveland Guardians. You can get your view level tickets and limited edition Kangaroo Court t-shirt at mariners.com/kangaroo. A portion of every ticket sold will benefit the Mariners Care Foundation. Ryan, before we get to questions about this team, when did you find out about this promotion and what was your reaction?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I was kind of shocked. We're in Houston and, I got a call from the Mariners and they said, hey, look, we want to do a Aussie Heritage Night. I'm like, what? And then they heard us talking on the broadcast, myself, Jay Bunering, Aaron Goldsmith, we were talking about Kangaroo Court, diving into that from a player's perspective. And I don't know, bump if they do that in the NFL as much as they do it in the MLB. And then they just kind of combined the two. So there's going to be a Kangaroo Court here on June 13th and on a fireworks night too. How about that? So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be good. I don't know what else they got in store. I was going to find out today in regards to if they got some food options or, what they're doing. If AC/DC is going to come out and play the national anthem, hopefully. We'll see. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be fun.
Ryan, Lake Washington High School, they're the Kangs, and they just won the state title. So
I know that, yeah.
Maybe you gave them some luck over there. Big ups to those guys, Derek Bingham and all those guys over there. But, yeah, man, let's talk some baseball.
Let's do it.
Are you worried about this team? And Ryan, it's tough talking to you every week because this ain't like football. With football, look, once a week, we can overreact, we can underreact, whatever. With baseball, you're playing 5 or 6 games a week. And your perception changes with the team. Well, ours does, at least, because we have to talk about them every single day. And right. I'm looking at the squad, and the thing that frustrates me the most about today's game is that Polanco is still batting in the 2 spot. And I'm thinking, all right, if you're trying to change the mojo or change the vibe of this team, wouldn't you change that lineup up a little bit? What do you think about that?
Yeah. Well, first of all, we went from a era the last couple of years where the lineup continually changed, and not hearing it directly, but you kind of got that sense where guys were a little bit frustrated in regards to hitting behind or in front of different guys every single night. It didn't have that continuity to it. I do like the fact that the Mariners are deciding to, stick with the same lineup. However, with Polo, it's a situation that call it a slump, call it can't get the ball off the ground, or call it, whatever it may be. It's been, going on for quite a while. There's not that adjustment being made. It's been pretty crazy to watch. And then with that too, when you're trying to lift the ball, when you're trying to make that adjustment, next thing you know, you start chasing because you're pressing a little bit more. So we're seeing some of these patterns. I still feel like, with him, if you are going to get a righty up there and you have a situation where he has come off the April that he did, and the bat-to-ball skill that he has, putting the ball in play for where he's in the lineup, I think he has a little bit longer leash. Now, if this continues on, there's going to be a time where he's like, you know what, hey, we have to go to plan B, plan C, and push him down the back end of the lineup. He's got to earn that spot again. But the one thing I was thinking about this on the drive over, because, just with some of the struggles with him, I do like the fact that the continuity with the lineup. I prefer that as opposed to hearing from guys where the lineup changes every single day, and they're trying to find answers for 3 to 4 months. I do like the fact we're seeing a very similar lineup roll out every single day.
Logan Gilbert threw 60 pitches in his rehab start yesterday. The velocity was down from 96 in the first to 93 in the fourth. Yeah. I was hoping you could add a little bit of context. Is this worrisome? Is it okay? Is it normal? What should we make of that?
Yeah, it's, you think about that and you see the velocity you want from a baseball ops perspective, from a fan perspective. You want to see him, pump out a 96, 97 on, the last pitch, like that last 10%, some of those thresholds. And look, we're seeing this with George Kirby as well. He went into that 5th inning, when was it, 2 days ago, and he was at 74 pitches, and he got in a rhythm. And then all of a sudden, that last little, 10 to 20% from George just wasn't as sharp. And you just got to remember, when you're coming back from an injury, you do have that layoff. there is these couple things happen. Number one, you command when you're trying to push through some of those thresholds, your command can go, or that velocity can dip a little bit. The other part of this is too, let's not forget, and nothing against pitching at Cheney Stadium compared to pitching here in the big leagues, but there is the adrenaline aspect. There is the Walter aspect to it, where he knows exactly what he's driving down that I-5 to go do. He wants to get through. He wants to get a good feel for that split, especially because that's really where the injury kind of came from. It was throwing that split. That's where he really felt it the most. And you want to get to that place where you get up, get down, get up, get down, and then all of a sudden, I know only through a couple innings, but you're kind of at that end. And your mind's so fixated on all these other things that you just want to have right and from some of this process. And so, look, you're not going to just absolutely let it eat and turn into Walter on that last pitch or that last 5 pitches, handful of pitches, and you will see a little dip in velocity. So, yeah, look, if we see this when he gets to the big leagues and you see some of that fade, or if he's laboring and he's really trying to push through because he feels like that pressure to come back and be Logan Gilbert, then we have an issue. However, I think you really can only get eyes on and figure this out once he gets here to T-Mobile and you have all those other elements when you're trying to finish your hitter off, when you're on the ropes and your heart rate's up and you're trying to push through that 6th inning, and to really gauge if there is a concern. So until he gets here, and that goes in, that's just a long-winded answer to say, hey, quote-unquote, get your work in. Hey, the pitches are right. Who cares about the velocity, whatever it may be? But I think we cover that. If he gives the thumb and he's okay, and they do all the other, the recovery markers the day after and the next day after that, and he's good, you know what? Get out there and see where he's at. Come start number 1, 2, and 3.
Ryan, someone on the text lines was poking at me because I said I'm still optimistic about the squad. I'm like, this is just a tough patch that they're in. I'm going to have to see this for 3 or 4 more series before I start really tripping. Then I also look at Baltimore, and there's talent on the roster. They just haven't been able to perform. Is that the proper approach to the series with Baltimore and the season as it stands?
Yeah, well, a couple of things. First of all, I said this. I was over in New Jersey last time I spoke to you guys, and I was looking at Baltimore going, hang on a minute. There's when you're looking at, they fired their manager. It's been an absolute disappointment. So you look at the Orioles through that lens, especially coming to the West Coast. But I'm looking at them going, hold on a minute. There is some serious threat in that lineup. There really is. And there's some good bats. The pitching, you run into a Sagana who's been really good. Then you run into Cade Povich, who was just enough last night. And then on the flip side with the Seattle Mariners, you brought up Polanco. I'm a little concerned about him. And you also ran into Munoz, who had back-to-back, rough ones. And so you put all this together on a homestand, which really hasn't been that great, especially, coming off the road trip they did. And like you said at the beginning of the show, the beginning of the chat, it's, week to week, everything tends to change because there's a game every single day. This team, I've said this to you guys multiple times. I'll say it again. When you get all those 5 starters, I'm talking get them right, get them healthy. When you're talking with Bryce and especially Logan Gilbert and everything else with it, the pitching will be the foundation. The offense may get frustrating where you want to pull your hair out at times. Last night, we're just not able to get guys into good situations to put them away. With that big hit like we've seen early on in the year. The pitching will be the foundation of this team, especially in that second half. When you get George Kirby right, Logan Gilbert comes back with Castillo doing what he's doing, make a couple moves at the deadline, whatever it may be. But if you get enough from the offense, doesn't have to be great, the pitching will carry this team. So, yes, Bump, you can be optimistic. It's all good. Don't worry about those those text messages coming in. Let's go. Come on.
Speaking of the pitching, Mariners PR about an hour ago, obviously ahead of Brian Woo's start, posted a pretty cool stat. Only MLB pitchers to go 6+ in 11 games this season. Brian Woo and some guy named Paul Skeens. Who's heard of him? Who? Pretty cool company to be keeping. And also, more importantly for Brian, a much better season than I was anticipating. And that's not to slight him. It's just he's dealt with injuries and, has really managed to, knock on wood, stay healthy and productive and be such a light with an otherwise banged up rotation. What have you seen from him this year? What are you watching for today?
Yeah, well, two things. Number one, seen from him this year is that just a stubborn approach, which is a great thing. He gets in trouble and he just goes right to the top of that strike zone. That's his bread and butter, that fastball. And that allows him to have that ridiculously good strike percentage. Not as good as last year, but still way above average. So you're going to find yourself in two strike counts constantly. That's how the Mariners have built these pitches. So that's the overall view. However, today's going to be a really good test, and this is going to be a fun game for him to watch. You're running into a bunch of lefties that have hit him better in the month of May, looking back at the month of May compared to the month of April. His changeup hasn't been as good. He's been starting to throw that pitch more to lefties. And the fastball, there's a couple of hitters in this lineup when you're talking Gunnar Henderson and O'Hearn who can handle that good plus fastball that profiles the same as Brian Woo's at the top of the strike zone. So those two weapons, the changeup, the lefties, you want to see him be really stable with that because it's, again, you've got 6 months worth. You're going to face a bunch of lefties in situations. And that fastball at the top of the strike zone that he always goes to, we know that. How's he going to manage some of the guys in the middle of this lineup? They're hitting the ball. They're starting to heat up, and they're starting to make a look. AL East, it's going to be tough for the Orioles. But I think today's going to be a really big test for Brian Wu. As good as he's been, don't get me wrong. You mentioned some of the numbers getting deep into games. But I want to see him get that feel for that changeup back today and see how that fastball looks against a couple guys who are getting that pitch today.
What type of adjustments do you think Dan Wilson will and should make during this little skid that they're on?
Well, I think it's back to what we were talking about with Jorge Polanco. I think there has to be a time where maybe you look to see about giving him that extra day against a righty, or maybe get him out of that part of the lineup, or something with him and Seitz. I had a great chat with Kevin Seitz the other day about JP, how he's bought into some of the different things they've done recently. He's got JP back on track. Talking about his relationship with Julio, I think there's something there where you really need to get, because remember, going back to the month of April, Polanco, man, he was so instrumental for some of the offense we saw early on, for so many different reasons. Obviously, Cal's doing what he's doing as well. I just think that a couple things, you have to get Munoz right back to getting that good feel for his slider. He had the two rough ones. He's going to get back. Hopefully, he gets back out there today and has a 1-2-3 inning. Get that bullpen dialed in. Matt Brash is starting to get to a place where he can pitch more consistently. Doesn't have to have the layoff because he's coming back from TJ. He's recovering way better. So your bullpen firms up a little bit. But look, I just think, man, a situation where you get guys in scoring position and just have that knockout blow, put up that 3 spot somewhere in the middle, in the middle of this game, get on that plane and feel good about when you head off to the road to go play the Angels.
I'm glad that while we're on the topic of the lineup and kind of what you can do here, it feels like the bottom of the lineup is where we're looking for some of those changes. And I came in ready to be like, Julio needs to do more. And you're like, well, he had 2 hits. Obviously, he's not playing like an all-star per se, but I mean, what are you seeing from him right now that you are liking or that does look like a step forward? Well,
I always look at, once you finish a month, you look back and I start to look at a couple things with him. Obviously, the swing and miss, strikeout rate, chase. If those numbers are good with him, so athletic, all the other stuff will come with it. In the last 5 games, all of a sudden the chase rate on breaking balls is up all of a sudden again. It's like he's like, eyes are lighting up and, they're going to throw me pitches in the strike zone. I'm going to try and get after it. And then that ball gets out of the zone. So that's up around 60% in the last 5 days from Julio Rodriguez. So he's in this place, whether it's at where he's at in his career, where he's just trying to find that consistent, where the month of May and the month of June, 2 months in a row, look identical. And then when you do that, you can walk up and feel really good, not get stuck in between about some of those little mechanical adjustments. So I think he goes back and forth. Like I said, he goes back and forth. He gets to a place where, all right, they're going to be in the zone more now because I've been a little bit more patient. Now, oh, sweet, now I'm going to get after this pitch. And then, boom, sure enough, it's 2 breaking balls in a row from him. But, I say this, I still say this. The offense, as good as Polanco was in the month of April, and as good as they were with Julio kind of taking a back seat, man, when he is going off, man, when he's at not the top of the lineup, but the top 3 in that lineup, going off, the rest, everything else starts to fall behind it. So think he's going to be all right. It's just it always comes down to the chase and the swing and miss for Julio Rodriguez.
Our weekly conversation with Ryan brought to you by Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. Again, Mariners celebrating Ryan in Australia June 13th against the Guardians. You can go to mariners.com/kangaroo. There's going to be a limited edition kangaroo court t-shirt and a portion of
good-looking shirt.
sold. It's really cool. It goes to Mariners Care Foundation. Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan.
No worries. Thanks, guys.
We got a special 4 Down territory. Let's get to it.
This is 4 Down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
So no questions here. We've got 4 observations from practice yesterday. You were able to watch. I'm just going to go first observation.
Sure. First one. This is OTAs. They're wearing pajamas out there. Okay, so this is just an observation from that. MVS looks good. He looks smooth. He looks good in that number 1. The swag is on point. The visor looks dope. But he made some plays down the field. And I was sitting there next to one of the, I want to call it, what's OC? What's OC's role? Brian O'Connell. He's the, he's like the,
like a producer?
Yeah, producer. One of the producers of the Seahawks. And we're talking about him. And he just looks smooth. He looks like he belongs. And we're talking about what we expect from him. Condota says Cooper can give you 1,000. And I'm talking to Brian. I'm saying, give me 554 touchdowns and average 17 a catch. And I think we are good. It looks like he knows this offense because he does. He was with Kubiak last year. So, no, MVS looked really good yesterday. And, again, the caveat is, like, the DBs cannot really contest the football when it's thrown in the air. There's no contact. But there were some obvious plays where he's just wide open. And that's by play design. It's by the script because you're matching the offense with the defense. There are a bunch of advantages for him out there. But me being a receiver, watching the way that he moves, getting out of his breaks, the security with him catching the football, he just looks really good. He looked better than I expected. Actually, I don't really know what I expected out of MVS, but he stood out the most out of all the receivers yesterday in like the 30 to 40 minutes I got to watch him.
Yeah, it's not like an insult to MVS. It's just that you have JSN coming off a 1,000-yard season. You sign Cooper Kupp, and he kind of falls to the background, right?
Yeah.
So it's more that we're talking about MVS with your first observation is very cool. Second observation.
So everyone wants to know what this offense is going to look like. And there are some things that we can assume based off of what Mike McDonald wants and what Kubiak has been saying and what I've seen on film. But the thing that stood out to me the most, one of the things, is that the pre-snap movement is there. Last year with Ryan Grubb, he would have some motions or whatnot, then it would disappear. With this Kubiak offense, it was like 75% of the time somebody is moving, whether that's a tight end stepping off the line of scrimmage, a receiver getting on, a tight end moving to the left, the running back starting in the pistol position and moving to the left, you start in an I formation and you go to unbalanced. There's just a lot of things for a defense to have to account for with this offense, and I love that because it makes the defense have to communicate. Big ups to that Seahawks defense too because they were communicating, and that's a sign of a defense that's locked in and ready to go. But I love the pre-snap movement because it's all about creating leverage and angles when it comes to the route running and for your offensive lineman when you're trying to block, right? When you shift your strength from left to right, that creates an angle for the offensive lineman. When you shift it from left to right in a motion, it creates an angle for the receiver who's hitting the flat or getting up on the wheel. Now, this isn't like revolutionary stuff. A lot of teams do that. You see the Rams do it. You see the Niners do it. The Vikings do it. A lot of teams do it, but there was a consistency in that I saw yesterday, and I loved it because as a receiver, if I can get moving, you're not going to be able to cover me. When I was in Canada and we could run towards the line of scrimmage, I'm like, nobody should ever be able to cover me. So I love the movement. It creates angles, makes defense communicate, and this is only the beginning of what this offense is going to be capable of doing.
Do you think that Clint Kubiak has attended mine and Curtis's How to Be a Really Good OC and put lots of movement in the game?
He must have. He must have because it was very constant out there.
Well, the thing that's unique about me and Curtis's camp is
that's right.
Our pre-snap movement actually is only the offensive linemen.
Yeah. If you're starting at left tackle, you're probably going to end up at center.
Yeah. And we try to build up lots of penalties so that then we can overcome, and it's about adversity.
That's right.
You like 3rd and 20.
Yeah, ideally. I mean, in a perfect world. Third observation.
I'm looking at the young man, Nick Imawari, and seeing how they're going to use him, and it's just a sample size. But I saw him at that safety spot. I saw him in the nickel spot, and then I love the way that he was moving underneath the shell. So what a shell is like, you got the two safeties in the back and the guys underneath. He's on that second level, and his eyes and his movement and how he respects things that are going across the field and passes it off and getting right back to his spot. He just looked comfortable, and they used him in multiple ways. Like I said, I saw him at the safety spot. I saw him in that nickel spot, and he just looked like he belonged. There's a lot of times I go out there, and you can tell a rookie, right? He's second-guessing himself. He's not really flying around to the football. He's asking a lot of questions. Not bad things. It's just part of the development of a rookie. With him, I didn't see a lot of that. Of course, he's communicating with his teammates or whatnot, but he looked big out there. He looked confident, and I like the way that they're using him so far.
Fourth down.
All right, so this last one, when you think of what this run game is going to look like, what concept comes to your mind?
Wide zone.
Wide zone, right? So I'm out there and I'm saying, I better see this wide zone we keep talking about.
You would think.
And I saw that. I saw the wide zone. I saw play action off the wide zone. I saw screens off the wide zone. There's a real emphasis on it, and it's not surprising. It's just when I go out there, I take everything that I heard coming up to this point, and I'm going off a checklist. All right, what are we seeing? Is this a fact? Is this true? And the wide zone is there. And it's so hard for the running backs to have success off the wide zone right now because there's no pads. And every DB is running up like he's making a play because they can't touch him. So they get low and act like they're blowing up the running back. And maybe they do. So it's hard to see the real success on the wide zone right now because you're not allowed to be as physical. But, again, the emphasis is just a checklist at this point. Okay, how does Cooper Kupp look? He looked great yesterday. JSN caught a screen. MVS looked good up top. Sam Darnold looked good in the play-action game. He looked good in the red zone. Obviously, there were some mistakes, some balls that were batted down. The defense making some plays as well. The edge rushers look good. They are in pajamas. It is OTAs. But you want to see the things that you hear about prior going into these situations. And I did. So it was fun. I also love there's a moment yesterday where guys were doing a bit too much as far as being physical. And Mike McDonald stopped practice. He goes, listen, you guys want to be treated like pros, you got to practice like pros. All right, you're full speed until the point of contact. No bull rushing the offensive lineman. He's in complete control of the situation. He was last year, but you can tell like there's something different about Mike McDonald this year.
He does seem not tough isn't the right word, and I use it a lot describing him, but it's not quite that. And it's not like that Bill Belichick military background. It's like a no BS kind of guy.
Yeah.
Like he just, I mean, even you look at last year, the moves that they were making with this team, immediately making trade deadline moves. Hey, sorry, you're leading the team in snaps, but you're just not working out for what we're going to do here. We're going to move on. Like, that's a cutthroat move. You know what I mean?
That's the
NFL. It was Dodson, right?
You.
Like, he wasn't, I mean, he was your snap leader.
Hey, he's a general out there, and I love it because good football teams are disciplined. Good football teams are held accountable. And that's what I'm seeing out there from Mike McDonald. Man, it was fun to watch him grow. You know, obviously he knows the game, smart dude, already holds guys accountable, but it just felt different, and I like that.
Well, I appreciate that hearing that Cooper Kupp looked really good, hearing that MVS looked really good. I have some question marks about the wide receiver room. So, like you said, no pads. They're wearing pajamas. But I think observations still matter. Hey, this guy looks smooth. This guy looks healthy. This guy's not wearing a brace, or he is. Those are all things that you want to be able to know for this one. All right, we are sending you to the Mariners pregame show. You got Brian Wu on the mound for a matinee series finale coming up at 12:40. Pregame show starts at 11:30. I was going to get your lineup here quickly. I have enough time. Matt, my computer froze.
No, you don't, because you only have 10 seconds.
Okay, well, we're sending you to the pregame show coming up next.
Seahawks head coach Mike McDonald, exclusively with Brock and Salk.
Your cohort, Mr. Schneider, talked a lot this offseason about pivoting. How was all of that?
It's kind of how we operate. You're looking at the lens of what we're trying to build, what's going to be best for us. I know it seemed like a lot, but like it, we had time kind of behind the scenes.
Sports app.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen. And PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
Need a new roof but not in the budget? A new roof doesn't have to break the bank. Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Right now, State Roofing and Exteriors is offering 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's 2 years with no payments while getting the protection your home deserves. But this offer won't last forever. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to get on our summer schedule now. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
Gain a global perspective and specialized skills that many of today's top employers are seeking with an MBA from University of Maryland Global Campus. Study online and complete your degree in just 16 months for about $21K. Choose from MBA specializations in global business, marketing, HR, finance, and more. Classes start June 11th. Learn more at umgc.edu. That's umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
As a fan, you know all the important sports cliches. And when you save money by bundling your home and auto with Progressive, you can get out there and give it 110%, even though that's mathematically impossible. And remember, failure is not an option. Well, it's always an option, just not a good one. But you're not worried because you've got ice in your veins. You're on fire. How can both of those things be true at the same time? Well, that's between you and your doctor. So get out there and leave it all on the field. Leave what? Who cares? Just leave it and save with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27 and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
The home of the Mariners.
Left off to center. It is on its way. Julio, 2-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
Hey guys, did you know that half of men over age 50 have erectile dysfunction on some level? Whether you have mild, moderate, or severe ED, West Coast Men's Health can help. We don't prescribe pills and hope they work. Instead, we treat the root cause of the problem with acoustic wave therapy, which breaks down plaque, unclogs arteries, and restores blood flow. We have treated thousands of men across our 11 locations nationwide and have established ourselves as a leader in the industry. So whether you have ED, Peyronie's disease, or suffer from chronic pain, such as neuropathy, carpal tunnel, or Dupuytren's contracture, West Coast Men's Health can help. No pills, no shots, no surgery, just results.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call West Coast Men's Health at 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM